A swirl of colors in my hands, creating pieces that make...
Hi, I'm Tony from Georgiesgorgeousgifts. Just a little bit about this video. This was done about 2:30 a.m. in the morning, while the few hours that the baby sleeps, because that's how I roll these days. So forgive me if it's a bit all over the place, and it was a spur of the moment project because I was doing something completely different. So this is the beginning of the initial project, and then I changed my mind and you'll see why. So hope you enjoy the video. So as I said, this was for a completely different project, and once I'd done it, I decided that actually that wasn't going to go with my initial thoughts on what I wanted to do. So it really wasn't going to match. So I decided anyway to cure it and just have the ring. At this point, I didn't have a clue why I was doing the ring. I didn't know what I was going to do with it, or but I'm really glad I did. So here I am filling in. It's a large coaster mould, and it's got like a groove around the edge. So I'm just filling it with some UV resin and some gold holographic glitter. This was done in 2 thin layers, and I did cure it from the back and from the front just to make sure that it was cured all the way through. So this is it finished, and you can just see a little bit of the initial project there in the corner. So I decided to put it into this other new mould that I've had, and to make like a stained glass window effect. So the resin I'm using is the J Diction High Viscosity. Now the reason for the high viscosity is to prevent it from spreading apart from them lines. Now in hindsight, what I should have done, rather than keep filling the pipettes and then trying to draw the lines, was found a needle tip bottle, because that would work so much better. So I partially cured it, now making sure that both lines touch the circle. So there I am, just reinforcing them little bits on the edges. So I decided to do exactly the same as this, different lines, no rhyme or reason to the lines, all over the piece. Now this took a minute, it really did. Now the filling up of the pipettes drove me mental for a start, and then it would only do so far down the line. It was just a nightmare. So like I say, in hindsight, I should have used a fine tip bottle, and next time I do this, that's what I'll be using. So like I say, just curing it, and this did take ages, so I'm going to pop you on speed for this.
A swirl of colors in my hands, creating pieces that make a stand.
So this is the finished piece. So I've mixed up some UV resin with different colours. I'm using blue, green, yellow and purple, and I'm just putting a very thin layer of each colour into each of the squares or each of the shapes. So I'm just making sure it's completely full right to the edge. So the idea is that this will adhere to the edges of it and create one piece. Like I say, at this point I didn't have a clue whether it was going to work, whether it was going to fall apart when it came out the mould. I should have really used epoxy resin for this. Again, that's what I'll do next time. It's all a learning curve. I mean, I've been doing this years, but I'm still learning every day. And like I say, the initial ring was a complete mistake, or shall we say learning curve. I don't like the word mistake, it's a learning curve. So I'm just filling the rest of this in. I'm just using the green. Now when I shone this in the light, you couldn't really tell the difference between the blue and the green, so I should have made one a little bit darker, or maybe used a different colour. Now this was the basis of my idea. And that's from Fluid Arts on Facebook. These stencils are really good. So yeah, this is what gave me the idea for that. Now at this point I was worried about it going round the edge and maybe seeping out, but then I thought, well, it doesn't really matter, because what I could do is just sand down to that edge, so if it did seep underneath it at any point, it wouldn't be that difficult to tidy it up. So between each colour I'm curing it and then popping a second coat onto it, and I just continued to do that until the whole piece was full.
Georgie's gorgeous gifts, so fine. Every piece uniquely mine. Watch the magic pour and flow. Handcrafted love in every glow. Resin weight.
So again, with the help of technology, I'm just giving it one last cure, and then we're going to take it off the silicone mould. Now I did this really gently because I wasn't sure whether it was fully cured all the way through, and I kept my light on just in case. But as you can see, it was absolutely fine. Now at this point I was actually starting to get quite excited, because I really liked how it looked, and the ideas were just swirling around in my head for alternative ways of doing this and different designs and things I could add to it. And but yeah, I was really pleased with it. So once I took it out of the mould, just to reinforce it, I cured both sides again. So here's the finished product, and it needs a bit of a clean up, but for a first attempt I'm quite happy with it as a trial. So we're going to turn this into a proper sun catcher. So we're going to add some of these like gems and chains to it. So all I've done is with a small drill, I will pop the link for this in the description, because this is a fantastic rotary cutting, drilling, engraving tool, and I think it was only about £13–14. So yeah, it's fantastic. So I've literally just put one hole in the top, and then I've put 3 in the bottom, and then I've cut my chains. So these kits were off Temu, and you can make sun catchers, quite a few, so they come with chains and like little silvery bits and all kinds of embellishments. So we're just going to use a few today. So first of all, we're going to use this hook. I'm going to pop that into the top, and then we're going to attach something onto that so that it'll hang. Right, then we've got these. So first of all, we need to put these little jump rings into the holes. Literally bend that out and feed it through. And then we will attach our little jump rings and our chain to these. So yeah, because these are quite fiddly, I'll do these off camera and then come back when I've attached all the jump rings and to put the chains on. So I've literally just added a jump ring onto these two with these pieces of chain, and now we're going to do the middle bit and add these stones. So to add these little gems, we're literally going to pop a jump ring through the top, and then we're going to attach it onto the end piece of the chain. And then we're going to clamp these back together. Now I am going to use a drop of UV glue just to make sure and seal these, just so that they don't come off. So there's the one. Then for the middle one, I've done exactly the same, piece of chain, jump ring with the gem, then another jump ring, another piece of chain, and then added another jump ring with this silver piece on. So we're just going to pop that into the middle. So again, with the jump ring, I'm just going to feed it through. Sorry if my hands are in the way. So I'm literally just feeding it through the last little loop. And then we're going to attach it to this ring. And then we're going to close it up. Oh. Right, try that one again. That's the trouble with things like this, they're really fiddly. Right, so that's through the jump ring. And now I'm just going to feed that onto there. And then get your pliers and twist them back. And then we're going to attach this one onto the end of this. So again, with the jump ring, and feed it through the end of the chain without it falling off. I should really have my glasses on for this. And then feed the other end of the chain through the jump ring and then close. There we go. And there we have it. Our own little Suncatcher made from scratch completely. So yeah, I'll take some glamour photos now outside. Hope you've enjoyed this as an experiment. It's been enjoyable. I've been Tony from Georgie's Gorgeous Gifts. Happy crafting, stay safe. Bye for now.
Pouring sunlight in my hands, colors flowing like shifting sands, yellow, gold and orange hues, a masterpiece made just by you. Resin sparkles in the glow, layer by layer it starts to show the warmth of sun